Hello, everybody. Hello. How's it going, guys? Hello. For anyone watching the replay, whoopsies. I had to turn my sound off. For anyone watching the replay, I am Evelyn of Pink Sheep Design, and this is my regularly scheduled Tuesday live here on YouTube. Which I had to miss last week because things have just been really busy. So I figured today would be fun to just catch up and check in with you guys. So let me pop the chat out and see who is here today. There we go. All right, I see Helen is here. Hello, good morning from the West Coast. And Winter is here. Hello, and Ellen. Hello, hello. So let me know how you guys are doing today. I don't think I have a ton of crazy stuff to share, but I wanted to check in and see how everybody was doing. And I think let's move over this way. Let's do that. And I can sit by my window. So I would love to know what you guys are working on. And I can share a few things with you guys too that I have been working on. And Helen's DIY hook is arriving today. That is awesome. I'm super excited for you to get to see it and get to start using it now that it is resin coated. That's super exciting. Aha. So let me know what you guys are working on, what you've been doing. So I had a custom order, and backstory on custom orders. I haven't done a custom order. I don't remember the last time I did a custom order. I know I was doing unicorns for a little while. That was kind of fun. But it's been a long time. I had this one person in Georgia when we were still living in Georgia who ended up buying like 5 blankets from me over the course of 4 or 5 years because I really don't like making blankets because they take so long and they're heavy. And of course, I'm going to make them chunky. But the guy didn't care how long it took me. So it was like, when you have one ready, awesome. I'll pay you up front and you can take as long as you need. So it took a lot of the pressure off, and it made me willing to make more of them because there was no hard deadline on any of them. And I think I ended up making like 5 of them. So his wife was in a sorority, and all of her friends and family were in the same sorority. And so it was like, if I got one done, someone lucky in the family got it as a gift. So that was interesting. But that was probably the last person who really did custom orders. And I'd love to know if you guys take custom orders often. So do you have people asking you to make things a lot? I feel like I haven't had someone random ask me to make something in a really long time. So now that we've moved to Alabama, I found, new post office, new grocery stores, all of that. And the post office that I go to is really small, and it's a lot of the same people. And so I ended up getting asked by the lady that works at the post office if I did custom orders. And I said, it depends on what the item is. If you're willing to have it be my aesthetic, so that just means it's got to be simple and it's got to be chunky. So as long as they don't mind it being super simple stitches, I'm probably not going to take on like a granny square baby blanket. Just because the additional work involved in sewing everything together. So I actually just finished, so I can show you guys. If you're in the Facebook group, you saw the yarn that I used, which was very neutral. It's really not something that I would have picked myself, but because, again, I was able to use chunky yarn, chunky hook, and it was very simple. I just used moss stitch, which is really nice, and it's very simple. It's just the single crochet, chain, skip a stitch, single crochet, chain, skip a stitch, and it creates that really nice effect. So I can show you guys. Okay, so what's everybody doing? And I'll show you guys that stuff. Winter is making Halloween treat bags. So are you making them to sell, or do you have people like in your family that you're giving them to? And are you using a pattern? Do you have a pattern for them? I need to do a roundup. I want to do a pattern roundup for Halloween, Halloween designs, Halloween patterns. Ellen's making banana bread. I haven't made banana bread in a long time. I used to really like making banana bread. I'm not really sure why I stopped. Probably just because I end up eating all of it. I don't think Matt eats banana bread, so if I had made it, I would have had to eat all of it. It's probably why I stopped making it. That's why I don't make a lot of treats. Another cloudy day is here. Hello. Katrina's Crochet World says, hello, Pink Sheep Design. Finally caught you live. Hello to each and every one of you in the chat. Hello. I'm glad to have you here. I'm glad you caught a live. Yeah. Last week I had to cancel the live because it's just been, and I feel like it's been this way for everyone. Let me know if you're feeling the same way. But lately it's just been a lot of last minute stuff that's come up, and even if it's not a whole lot of stuff, it feels like a lot of stuff. And I know that this is not, let me try to clean my lens off a little bit. There we go. Okay, I think that's better. It's just felt a little overwhelming. And nothing bad. It's just felt like there's a lot going on. And Matt and I have been working really hard to stock up for the holidays. So we're making a lot more hooks. We're releasing a lot more hooks because last year we really kind of got wiped out. I know a lot of people save up to purchase our jumbo hooks. And so I feel like around the holidays, we had a lot of new people purchasing our hooks, people buying new sizes. And so we've really, really been trying to release something once a week, just to continue to add stock to the shop, which means some of that is our super simple hooks. We've started making our 3D printed handles that are uncoated. So our jumbo hooks are $45, but these are $25. We're able to do these for $25 since we're not having to add the resin. And we have the Bates and Boy heads, and they are marked on the bottom. So that's been really fun to work on these, and it's still a work in progress. I'm looking into making the handles a little bit shorter on these. I know for me, I tend to hold here, and I kind of want to rest down here, so maybe a couple millimeters shorter. But so far we've gotten great feedback on them, so that's been fun. But that's why I canceled the live last week, because it's just I haven't felt like I've had time to just breathe. And these are short, these are an hour. It's not like I'm on here for 2 or 3 hours, but it's in the middle of the day. So it's kind of like you have to plan around it. I can't really go anywhere before the live unless, I know I'm going to make it back in time for the live. And then, so everything has to be planned afterward. And so by the time this is over, it's 1 o'clock, and then, I'll have to eat something, and then we'll, run whatever errands we have to run. So sometimes it can feel like a lot, even though it's only an hour. But I try not to cancel that often because, this is my weekly opportunity to check in with you guys and see how things are going. And, if people have questions, it's, my opportunity to be accessible and here to answer them. So I like getting to go live. So let's see. Okay, so love the moss stitch. Yeah, so my chat is not showing up on my phone, so I'm gonna have to watch. Let me turn this a little bit so I can see the chat, because it's not showing up on my phone. I knew I was missing things. Okay, so let me show you guys the blanket that I finished. I'm pretty proud of it. I think as long as, I told her it was going to be very simple, and I did show her a picture once I got enough done to show. But this is what it looks like, and it's a crib blanket. So like toddler age, but in a crib, I guess. I don't have kids, so I don't know. But let me go back a little bit so you guys can see. So it's this wide, but it's a rectangle, so it's taller. So if I put it in half, that's what it looks like. So it's a good size. It's a good size blanket. I did do a border of moss stitch, 2 rows of border. So there's 2 border rows going around the edge, which I think really cleaned up the edges. So that's the edge of the blanket right here. And then you can see up close, there's the moss stitch. And she wanted it to be neutral. She said that her daughter, this is for her granddaughter, and her daughter likes the neutral tones. So I sent her a few pictures of some of the different color options. I told her we could do stripes or I could do a color changing, and she really liked this color changing. This is just burnout blanket. Let me see if I've got one left over and I can show you guys the color. I thought I had one more. Oh yeah, here it is. So this is the one I used. I ordered it off of Joann Store's website. And it is weathered wood. So you can see that there. Weathered wood. And this took about 4 balls of yarn. So not bad at all. I bought 5 just in case, but this was 4 balls of yarn. And I double stranded it. So I did hold a double, and I used, let's see, I used my 14 millimeter hook. So this is the hook that I used. See the 14? I think you can see that on the bottom. Yeah. So 14 millimeter, 2 strands held together. So it's super, super squishy. And I'll show you guys. I did still have some of these little tags left over from back when I did craft shows. And I do feel like it makes a big difference just to have this little pink sheep design tag on there, and it's on the edge. So there's the edge of the blanket, and that is the little sheep that used to be my logo. So these are older tags, but it's the little sheep with the hat and the scarf. And there you go. So that's pretty fun. I love adding those little extra touches. Let's see if I can fold this back up and put it back in the bag. I wasn't sure if I would have a bag big enough for the blanket, but I did. That's always wonderful. So I can bring her a bag to keep it in until she gets to give it to her gift recipient. Oh, okay. Yeah, so let's see what you guys are getting into. I'm going to bring my mouse over closer to me so I can do this. Okay, who is here? Oh, we got so many people here today. Thanks for joining in, guys. Winter says, I'm freehanding them. I'm making Halloween stuff for my Etsy because it's a big seller these days. That's awesome. And I've seen a lot. So I've seen the ones that are just like square with like, are you doing color work that has designs? Because I've seen a lot of those where it's like a regular bag, but then there's either a patch or they've done mosaic crochet to create like a design on the front. But I've also seen like the pumpkin bags. So there's a lot of options out there. Like I said, that's why I want to do a pattern roundup if I have time. And I have a few Halloween-esque patterns of mine that I can include. So that would be fun. Helen is working on more cat cozies. I think I'm going to incorporate some glow-in-the-dark yarn into a few. That's really smart. I love that idea. Cat cozies were always my biggest seller, always, because it's the perfect price point for people who, you know, maybe came to a show and really didn't expect to spend a lot of money, but they want to support people. So I feel like you can get them at a good price point, and they don't take very long to make. And you can have so many different colors, you know. And I feel like there are people who buy them. Like I had one person, a lot of people buy them because they have cats, or their friend has a cat and likes coffee or whatever, and they'll get them for them. But then I had people who would buy the beer cats, so it'd have the bottle ones that are included in the pattern, and they would get those as like a gag gift for people who don't like cats. So they would buy the beer cat cozy, and they would gift it to someone either who, you know, like their husband or wife made them get a cat when they got married. And so I just thought that was really interesting that it's a diverse group that buys them, because they're just kind of weird enough that a lot of people tend to like them. So I hope they sell well. And Helen, are you selling them at shows, or are you selling them at online or giving them as gifts, or what are you doing with them? Just making it. Oh my gosh, I caught a live. Yes, hello. I'm so glad you are here. Winter also, because they are really cute and fun to make, so I'm probably going to keep some for myself and to gift. Yes. Maribel, hello. Hello to Pink and everyone in the chat. And Granny D is here. Hello, Granny D. Kim, I enjoy these lives. I'm so glad. Granny D says howdy to all. Let's see. Katrina says hi, Mama D. Maribel says hey to Granny D. Lots of welcomes. Granny D says, hope to start BOD's Moss Stitch Beanie today. And remind me who BOD is. Bag a Day? Is that Bag a Day Crochet? I think that's right. Now that I said it, I asked the question and I answered my own question. Yeah, I don't have any patterns using Moss Stitch, and I need to have one. I feel like I've stuck with very, very simple stitches, and I know that Moss Stitch is simple, but I feel like even as a total beginner, I feel like it can be easy to screw up. If you forget, you know, the two single crochets in the front, and I feel like once you get going, it's easy. But I was kind of worried. I was like, am I going to mess this blanket up because I forgot to add, you know, like where do you put the last stitch? And, you know, so I've always been concerned, and I think that's why, because I have tried to niche down to this super beginner crocheter, that I'm always a little worried to add things. I mean, I feel like my worst performing patterns have been ones where it's optional, but it has a zipper in the jacket. And I think that it might throw people off of like, I don't want to make it without the zipper, so I'm just not going to make it. So I'm always a little concerned to add in new techniques. I do have, in the last couple of patterns and in the one that I'm working on. So if you guys haven't seen it, I think I've showed it quite a few times, but the Max jacket. So if I've got my Stranger Things fans, this is my Max jacket from season 4. And I've started doing ribbing on the sleeves, which was new for me, but I do have a video that I'm working on, so that I'll have a video available to show people how to do this. But I feel like once you get this technique, it's such a great technique to use to add the ribbing, so you don't have to sew the ribbing onto the cuff. But that's how these sleeves are. And this is another thing that I've been working on, and it's just been taking longer than, and I think, like I said, I think it just feels like it's taking longer. I think I put more pressure on myself sometimes, but I got all the sizing done. So like this was all my notes. These are my Max notes. This was figuring out how wide it was going to be, and then how many stitches I would need to make it that wide. And then, yeah, breaking down a lot of stuff. So I finally got all of that figured out, and then I had to get that input into the pattern, and now I'm taking those notes and I'm putting them into Canva so that it creates the PDF. And I'm really hoping that I can do a tester call for the Max jacket next week. That's my goal. it's like I said, it feels like it took longer than I wanted it to, because I finished this jacket a while back, and I've got my Batwing jacket that's still waiting in the wings to get written up. But it's a lot of work, like to get the sizing right and to make sure that all the numbers are correct. And I feel like I'll start to go cross-eyed after a while when you've got 9 different numbers in each row and you're trying to make sure that you actually put all 9, that they're all in the correct order. And but we're getting there. I'm to the sleeves in the pattern. So I've gotten through the panels and all of that and the front border, and I'm on to through the collar, and I'm into the sleeves. And this is my first pattern that I do a tapered sleeve. So I've never done a tapered sleeve. All of my sleeves have been straight, and then they cuff at the end. So this one is tapered, because I feel like it had that kind of track jacket look. I didn't want it to have bell type sleeves or balloony looking sleeves, so they are tapered. So getting that right, I think I frogged the sleeve at least 2 times to get the tapering right. But I think it was worth it. I'm excited about it. So I'm just trying to take my time, make sure I've got it right, and then I can do the call for testers. So I'm really excited because I want the testers to choose their color. So if they're not a Stranger Things fan, or if they don't want to make the same color scheme as from the show, they can choose a different color scheme. So I do want people to use the striping, but I think it'll be really cool to see the color combinations that people come up with if they don't use the blue, yellow, and white. So I think that will be really fun to see. Great texture on the blanket. Thank you so much. I think it turned out good. It's very squishy. I feel like it's still light enough for a toddler to carry around, because that was the goal. She said that she wanted something that her granddaughter could kind of carry around the house and cover up with. So I wanted it to be big enough for that, but the blanket yarn is always a great option for keeping it a little bit lighter. It is still like a heavier blanket. The toddler might get a little workout because it's so chunky. But I think I've gotten to that point now where it's a lot easier to say no to people if, I've already got a lot on my plate. And it used to be like, well, I don't want to miss out on a custom order for the money, but you don't want to be miserable the whole time you're making it. So I was very upfront and honest with her. I said, this is how much it's probably going to cost. If you have a budget, you can let me know, but this is what I'll be charging. And I could have worked with her a little, but she said, no, that's fine. And then I said, you've got to be okay with it being chunky yarn. Like if you've looked at Pinterest and found these delicate lacy baby blankets, that's not going to be what you're getting. And she seemed very, very open and, and fine with the process. So those are the kind of custom orders that I think all of us should strive for, is people who come to us for, the technique that we like to do and the things that we like to make, versus trying to just make everything for everyone. I think that's where we start to kind of lean into more of a burnout situation if we're not enjoying the custom orders that we're taking. So I have to let you know, this is just making it. I have to let you know that I used the Luna pattern with a 6mm hook and a worsted cotton, and it fit one of my grandsons. Worked perfectly. That's fantastic. I feel like I've had a few people who have done that for kids in their life. So I think someone did that with the Tonks hoodie. I think they shared that with me. But the Luna's a great one, because I feel like once you get the body of the cardigan done, you can really play around with, like, if you want to taper the sleeves, if you want to add ribbing to the sleeves, you can. And I think it's just a good kind of base piece to work off of. And I've seen people who've added a ton of length to their Lunas and then left it sleeveless. So it was like this super long, cool vest. People have added a hood. So I've had people who've kind of taken the Luna and the Dobby and paired those together. So it's just fun. It's fun to see people kind of mix and match the patterns, which is, I think it's really neat. Beautiful blanket. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love seeing everyone say hello to everybody. Granny D says Moss Stitch is my favorite. Yeah, it's it's such a beautiful stitch. And sorry, my what's it called? Jumped. My comments jumped. Heads up from Just Making It. Hirschner's has some of their blanket yarn colors, 300-gram balls, 2 for $9.98. I don't know if it's still going on, but it was as of yesterday. That's awesome. And they had their own blanket yarn, I'm guessing. The label is adorable. Thanks. That's a fun one. Yeah. Looks professional. Thanks, guys. Winter says I did different ones. I did some with color work and some with faces sewn on. That's really cool. You should, if are you in the Pink Sheep Facebook group? Because if you aren't, I would love for you to share pictures of them. I'd love to see them. That would be really neat. And if you did have patterns, I think you said you were freehanding them, but if you do have patterns that you recommend, you can share them as well. Love Halloween. So many fun projects to do. Exactly. I am trying to, so it keeps getting put on hold, but I really want to make, I'll show you guys. So this is as far as I've gotten, which is really sad. And I have to frog this because I realized I wanted to do double crochet, not half double crochet for this magic circle piece, but I want to do a hat, and I kind of wanted to do like an ear flap hat. So this is the Snuggle yarn, Baby Snuggle by Hobie, and it is double stranded. And I'm using, I think, an 11mm hook, and that's what it looks like. So super, super squishy. But I want to do a candy corn themed toboggan with the ear flaps is what I would like to do. I don't know if it's actually going to happen. It's one of those where I started on it, and I have to take pictures if I'm going to make it into a pattern. And so I just haven't had time to go for it. But this was my attempt at making a leg warmer, which I do think should still happen because it really wasn't terrible. It was actually a pretty cute leg warmer. But I wasn't sold on using this yarn. So that's in the works. But I think that'd be really fun to do a candy corn color themed toboggan with like the little ear flaps for Halloween, and a pom-pom, of course. Yes, Crystal from Bag O' Day. Yeah, just a simple beanie using all moss stitch. And that would be really interesting. I need to look, is that a pattern on her blog? Or is it a paid pattern? Because that would be really interesting to see how to increase or decrease with moss stitch. So that's where it gets intimidating. Anything that uses a specific repeating number is where I start to get, like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I know I could figure it out, but the idea of trying to design around it makes me a little nervous. I mean, people who do Tunisian crochet, people who design Tunisian crochet, who design mosaic crochet, I mean, hats off to them, because that's a whole nother element added into the design process. Whereas with me, at least, the design part is usually fairly simple, and then it's just figuring out sizing and all that. Helen's going to be selling them at a show for the first time on Saturday. Woohoo, that's exciting. That's super exciting. Shows are fun. Shows are really fun. And I need to do, I think I've done two of these lives focused on craft shows. So I need to bring that back, because I think we talked about figuring out whether or not doing a craft show is a good move for your business. And then I feel like we talked about inventory. So how to create enough inventory for a show and breaking that down. But we still need to do a video that's all about preparing for the actual show, what to bring, transporting, and then how to have more confidence at the show. I guess that would be, because I think that can be a little intimidating for people, especially if you've never done it before, if you've never done a craft show. It can be a little intimidating, if you're not a people person, if you're not an extrovert. I feel like the idea of being at a show can be a lot, so we'll have to talk about that. That may be the next one, because I've got a couple of these planned out over the next couple of weeks. And I always ask this. So if you guys have topics that you'd like me to cover or things that you'd like me to talk about, please let me know in the comments. And that means like now, if you have ideas, pop them in the comments and I will write them down because I love coming on every week. Sometimes weeks like this, it's easy because I missed last week, so I have plenty I can chat with you guys about just stuff that I'm working on. But some weeks I'll come on and not really sure what to chat about, but I love having broad topic ideas from you guys because then we can really make it fun and I can interact with y'all a little bit more and ask you guys questions. So let me know. Let me know what y'all want to talk about the next couple of weeks coming up because we're getting into craft season, holiday season, and I think a lot of us are prepping just like we are with our hooks. So like hook prep is underway. I'm super excited, by the way, about our next hook release. So we're still doing our jumbo hook releases. So the fully 3D printed hooks, not the handles, the hybrids. We're doing that still once or twice a month because it's more involved with the resin coating and all of that. But I'm really excited about the next resin, the next full jumbo hook release that we're doing, which it's probably going to be this weekend. I can't guarantee Friday because we just did the first coat of resin yesterday. But they're going to be really cool, and it's not a color that we've done before at all. And we don't have anything like it in the shop. So really excited. I guess it's still kind of secret, but I'm really excited. So just so y'all know. And we just bought a whole bunch of new filament. So I will tell you, if anyone has wanted the unicorn and mermaid hooks that we did last year, we bought more filament. I can't guarantee you when it's going to happen, but we did a big bulk order from Cookie Cad for their 3D printer filament. So if anyone has been wanting unicorn and mermaid hooks to be back, and those are it was blue and pink and blue and purple is the ombre effect of those. And I think I have some. I'll show you guys. Let's see if I've got some back here. Oh yeah, I've got both. And we do glitterify them, but this was the unicorn. You can see the glitter. It's just holographic, silver holographic glitter. And it's pink to blue fade. That was unicorn. And this is a 16 millimeter. And then this was the mermaid. So you can see it's the blue to purple, or like a teal to purple fade. And this is a 17, which that number didn't come out super good, but I can see it. Well, I know what it is. This one was kind of a screw up. So we keep a lot of the ones that don't print all the way, but you can see the front of this one has like a snub nose compared to this one. So it's still usable. I still use it, but I didn't sell that one because that one that was not a perfect print. So at some point those will be coming back. So we're super excited about that. And it was really nice to put in that order. And then we have a couple more fun ideas. One that I'm hoping to get done for Christmas. I would like to do a special Christmas release this year. So like a limited, well, most of them are limited edition, but it might be a smaller release. But I had this idea in my head. I don't know if it's going to work out. I hope it does. But I had an idea this year for Christmas hooks. So I don't know if we're doing Christmas boxes this year, Christmas mystery boxes, because that's the other thing that we've been working on. I got all of our orders in for Halloween mystery boxes. Everything that we are putting in the boxes is on the way to us, and the things that we needed to 3D print for the boxes it's all printed. So like we're moving in the right direction, and so far everything is going as planned with the Halloween mystery boxes. So if you guys ordered one, we are on track to ship them out at the end of September, at the end of this month. Now it's September. So we're excited about that. I think it's going to be good. And I hope you guys like them. We were excited to get to bring them back this year, but again, things have just it's felt like a lot. So that's why I can't promise Christmas mystery boxes this year. Maybe. We'll see. We got to see how we feel. Let's see. Kim is here, or Mickey is here. Hello. Hello. Kim can't wait to make the jacket. Woohoo! Let's see. Joni's Not So Fast Life is here. Welcome. I'm just scrolling through the comments. Let's see. And Tracy said, sorry I'm late. What's the topic today? And yes, no topic today. I just wanted to check in and say hey and tell you guys what I've been working on, which was custom blanket order, Max jacket, working on new hooks, getting all that going, getting orders out. It's just been kind of life as usual. Let's see. And Winter said, I did a custom order for my stepmom's sister and she kept bugging me asking when it would be done. So yes, I prefer people who are actual customers to order custom work. Yeah, and I think just, you know, this person, the lady at the post office, didn't have a set deadline either, which was really nice. You know, I try to work pretty quickly. I mean, that's one of the reasons I use the chunky yarn, is so that, you know, things don't take as long. And I think it's been maybe 2 weeks since she placed the order and it's ready to go. So, so that's nice. And it was honestly nice to have something to work on that wasn't design related. You know, it was something that something simple that I could work on while I was watching TV at night, instead of something that I'm trying to design and I have to get up and go take pictures and go sit back down and take notes, and I could just work on it. So that's been really, really nice. Just making it, I totally agree about doing custom orders that are in your wheelhouse instead of fighting the project just to make the item for an order. Yes, agreed. And the longer that I've been designing and not doing custom orders, the easier it has been to say no if someone wants something that's not something that I want to do. But it has also gotten easier for me to sell what I do. So you had this in mind, but let's take a look at what I would do that would be similar. So like a chunky version of what you're looking for, you know, and kind of showcasing what I could do for someone. And I think that makes it easier to not completely miss out on the opportunity for a custom order that might be a nice opportunity. But like you said, not to fight it. You know, you're not going to have to work on something that's just sucking your soul out as you work on it. Let's see. Lori, hi y'all. I'm so glad I caught you live. Welcome, Lori. I'm glad you caught us live too. Just Making It says the same blanket yarn you just held up is at Hirschner's. Okay, so it's Bernat blanket yarn, because I know some of the stores and websites have their own version of a blanket yarn. So like Lion Brand has a couple of different, I think they've got 2. I want to make a blankie, and then there's another one I think that they have that's the same style of the blanket yarn, like the Chanel style. Maribel, I'm crocheting a caddy to hold my granddaughter's coloring books, color pencils, and crayons for when she's in the car. That's awesome. Is it just a bag, or is it specific to the car? Is it something special for the car? Winter, I'm in the Pink Sheep group. I'll try to remember to post them. Please do. That would be awesome. I would love to see them. Love the leg warmer idea and the ear flaps. I do need to revisit the leg warmers, and I think that'll be a fun, easy pattern to release when it gets colder. So that would be an easy fall release. Let's see. Lori says she has a tutorial on it, and I believe it's a paid pattern. Video tutorial. Okay, so I'll have to check out the video tutorial for sure. Just Making It says when you decrease or increase in moss stitch, usually it's over 3 stitches instead of 2. That way you maintain the moss stitch texture. Got it. I'd have to practice. I would be learning something new for me for sure. Also, the increase decrease rows will be every 4th round instead of every other, because by making the increase or decrease over 3 stitches, you are decreasing / increase. Okay, yeah. So it makes a bigger effect when you increase or decrease then. Helen says, I've done many craft shows, but it's my first time selling cat cozies. Gotcha. So let me know how they do. I'll be very interested to hear. Joni says, I've been asked to try and recreate a doily that a friend's aunt made. I have never done anything this big before, so any tips would be totally rad. I mean, I think it would just be taking your time, you know, if you haven't done it. So it's a doily, but is it big doily? Is it like a tablecloth kind of thing? Because when I think doily, I think small. I think it's something small. Or is it just intricate? Because I think a lot of those are like lace weight, maybe. Mickey says, I love my 12mm mermaid hook. Tracy waiting for the rainbow. And we have continued to keep an eye out. We still have the silk rainbow ombres. I got a couple of them. So we still have some of these in the shop that are the hybrids. They're resin coated. So there's one that's like a purple to red. This one is purple, red, gold. So we've got those, and let's see, we've got a few more. Got this one. I loved these. This was like almost like a limeish green to the teal, and it's got some purple on the bottom. And this is a Bates, so we do have the Susan Bates and the boy style hooks in the shop. And this one, so that's like a golden fade. So we've still got these, but the issue is when we try to print these, so this is similar filament, so you can kind of tell similar feel. We have a lot of failures at the top. So when we're printing these, it'll print, everything's good, and then it'll fail like right here where this happens. So this part is probably 30 minutes, whereas this part's like 3 hours. So we'll go 3 hours printing hooks, and then at the very, very end, they fail. And there's nothing we can do about it when they fail. And the failure rate of the filament when we're printing hooks really, that's what determines if we continue using the filament, because there's a point where it's not financially feasible, because we're not getting enough hooks to finish to be able to use that filament, because if you buy the whole roll and you only get a few hooks out of it, then the hooks would have to be extremely expensive for us to make enough money. So, that's, but we're keeping our eyes open, and we continue to look for different rainbow options. And we have played around with the idea of trying to make a mold of this and do poured resin. So like you guys have seen the resin handles that people pour and, mix different things in. So we've thought about doing that, but we'd have to have a different mold, for each hook. So we'd probably start with one size and go from there. But, there's a lot of things that, we're always looking at trying to create new ideas and new products. And the creation of the new products is one of the most time consuming things. And you never know if it's going to pan out, so you could take a month or two to create a new product. And if it doesn't sell, then you kind of feel like you've wasted 2 months of time, which you haven't, because you learn a lot of new things. And a lot of times we're playing around with new techniques and new items, but that it's difficult to take time away from what is working to try to do something new, and you don't know if that's actually going to be a good move. So we have a lot of ideas, and it's just finding the right time to take a break from, especially from holiday prep, because like I said, we're really trying to fill the shop so that we have plenty of things for people to choose from, different colors, different hooks, and having all of our jumbo sizes in stock. And I don't know if everybody knows this. We talked about this a little bit last night, my husband and I, when we were coding the newest hooks, um, that we, our hooks are all ready to ship. So, I know that there are hooks that you can purchase where you have to wait months, at least weeks before they ship out because that hook has to be made. So there's a photo on Etsy or on their website of the item, but you may have to wait quite a while to have that hook shipped to you. And something that we have worked really hard to do in our shop is to have things ready to go. So, like if you order a hook today, like if you ordered a hook right now, the longest you'd have to wait, most likely I'd get it shipped out tomorrow, but the longest you'd have to wait is 2 days. So if you ordered it Monday, the longest you'd wait would be Wednesday for that hook to ship out to you. And it really is that I know that we live in an Amazon world, and part of it is that. So part of it is, I think people want to be able to get things quickly. But that also keeps us from falling behind. There are situations where we've seen people take pre-orders or, have a lot of orders out that have not been filled and are continuing to take orders while the people who paid, a couple months ago sometimes haven't received their orders. So staying on top of it and keeping our shop where everything is ready to ship. It's all in the shop. It's all in our office completed, so we don't put anything in the Etsy shop until it is ready to go out the door. So that's something that we pride ourselves on. So if you need a size, if you've got a project that you're working on that calls for a 12 millimeter hook, but your tension is not quite right, and you decide that you need an 11 millimeter hook or maybe a 14 millimeter hook, and those are hard sizes to find, we can get it out to you super fast. So that's something that, I don't feel like we talk about it enough, to remind people that's something that we work really hard to, and that's with all of our stuff. That's with tools, stitch markers, anything that we've got in the shop, unless it is a true pre-order, like the Halloween mystery boxes. So those take some time, How about the bookwork part and how to keep track or be organized? The bookwork part. Are you talking about shows? Are you talking about craft shows? How to keep track of like sales? Let me know, Ellen. Expound on that a little bit because I'm intrigued. Grammy Colleen Crochets. Hello, hello, welcome. Just making it when I owned a screen printing and embroidery business, the custom orders were one-offs, were always the worst pain. Yes, especially if it's not something like, if someone came to me today and said, I want a Luna cardigan in my size, in crazy colors, I would love to do that. Like, I would love to make custom cardigans for people using, and maybe not all of my patterns. I wouldn't want to do a ton of dobbies because they take long. They take a long time. But like the Luna cardigans, that would be super fun to make a custom order like that. But if someone came to me and said, I found a pattern on Etsy, like someone else's pattern, even if it was chunky, and said, will you make this for me as a custom order? I would have to charge a lot to make that worth, because I don't know if the pattern's going to be easy to follow, if I'm going to have to just kind of figure it out as I go along. I don't know if it's actually going to fit them because I don't know, and maybe I know the designer if they picked, a pattern where I recognize the designer, but I feel like it's good to be picky with your custom orders so that you don't go crazy making them. Let's see. Okay, my comments jumped again. There we go. Everyone's saying hello to Grammy Colleen. Welcome again. It's going on the back of the passenger seat. Okay, so like it like hooks on the back of the passenger seat. Does it go into like the pocket or something? That's cool. I think a doily with chunky yarn would make an awesome blanket. True. I agree. Lori says, I delivered 3 tunics of my own design to the nurses at my doctor's office this morning. To the nurses trying to buy the tunic off of me. I charged them $150 each, and Trubu, I thought, with that price. So you charged $150 and you used Trubu, because that's tiny. So the only thing I've used Trubu for, and I actually haven't used Trubu yet. I used Kobu. So I've used what is Kobu? Cotton bamboo, the cotton bamboo mix. And I held 3 strands together to make myself one of my Nancy bralettes, which is pretty thick, but it doesn't really feel like it. So when I hold the actual bralette, it feels very thick, but when it's on, it feels pretty nice. So it is a very soft yarn. It's a runner size, but it's framed. I said I would look at it and see if I thought I could do it. That's smart. Yeah. I made doilies of all sizes and colors, beautiful rugs. It's basically a mandala, but I like doily better. Gotcha. And Jess said the same thing. That's awesome. I can just imagine how beautiful they are. And I like the idea that it's framed. So a lot of people that create crochet art for their walls and hanging pieces, that's really neat. Sindra says, I'm late. I'll have to watch the replay. And we didn't talk about anything crazy. It was just a chance for me to check in and see how you guys are all doing. Jess, I always felt like January to February were good R&D months because of being post-holiday. The problem for me is usually holiday burnout and needing time to regroup after the holiday rush. Very, very true. I do think that, you know, right now, even though it feels like the holidays are a long way off, we can kind of see there's only so much time for us to actually release because of the process that it takes. And so we're in full holiday mode right now. We would love to have a couple of more colors of each hook size, have, you know, if we can get 10 of each size in stock in the shop, that would be awesome, because people not only have the size options, but they have different color options within each size hook. So, and then we've got to also make sure that we have enough tools printed, you know, that we have enough stitch markers, that we've got some variety there. I may have to do another enamel pin order, because I'm almost out of the tarot pins. So the hooker and the knitter pins are almost sold out, and I don't want to be out of those for the holidays. So I've got to do another order. I've done a lot of sticker orders to prep for holidays. So it's a lot. And I do think, so January for us last year was very, very busy. So I do think February and March will be a really nice time to just kind of recuperate and regroup and see how we're doing. But then it's tax season. So then you're gearing up for, you know, having all that ready. So it kind of never ends, but I feel like as it starts to get warmer, so like spring and the beginning of summer was probably the most relaxed I think that we were able to feel pre DIY hook challenge, which is towards the end of the summer. So we'll see what happens this year. It'll be interesting. Sindra gets her hooks in about 3 days. Woohoo! Winters, I have to run to the post office and do some shopping. So bye, everyone. Bye-bye. And Ellen says, just thinking the basics, paper and pen versus computer program, keeping track of everything, craft or booth in a shop. Yeah, and we can talk about that, because I kept a lot of my paper tracking, and it was always a mix for me. So I always used a mixture of paper inventory tracking, and then I would also have Excel documents for different things. So that's a good idea. I like that idea. Tracy, would you or anyone in the chat know how many Karen tea cakes, which is a 6 weight, to make a king size blanket in a simple stitch that's not a yarn eater? I'm really not sure. You know, when I was making the, they fit a full, I think they fit across a full size bed, and I was using Woolies Thick and Quick and the Michaels Loops and Threads, which was a size 6. I think I used 11 or 12 balls of yarn, single stranded, and I used a 13 millimeter hook, anywhere from a 12 to a 13. And I used lemon peel stitch for those. And like I said, it took about 11 to 12 balls of yarn, but lemon peel is kind of a fluffy stitch. It has a lot of texture. So I think if you used something simple, like maybe you could even use a granny square, like the granny stitch, but it doesn't have to be a granny square. Or like even a moss stitch, you know, because you have the open pieces. I feel like you probably use less yarn on a moss stitch than you would on a single crochet, simple single crochet. But yeah, I use lemon peel stitch, and I feel like if I had chosen a different stitch, it probably would have taken a little bit less, but it took me 11 to 12 balls of yarn to do a full size throw. And that was not like over the edges of the bed either. So, you know, it might have been like a full twin size as like over the edges, but it fit across the full size. So I hope that's helpful. I think it would just be searching out, you know, some different options, but, and Grammy Colleen Crochet says moss stitch as well. Just making it, I have a chart that says Afghan and 6 weight would take 1625 to 2000 yards, but it doesn't say what size Afghan. So maybe a king would be 2500. Yeah, it'll be a lot. It'll be a lot, but I do think that, what's it called? Moss stitch would be a good option for you. Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys, I am out of fun things to talk about, and Matt and I get to go to Ollie's to try to find some furniture for the porch, so that'll be fun. But I'm so glad you guys joined in today, and I feel like this will be one of the first times I'm not crazy running over, but be sure to join the Facebook group, and we'll vote on some topics to chat about for the next couple of upcoming live sessions. Keep an eye out if you are wanting to test the Max jacket. I am hoping to have a call for testers ready by next week. The Nancy bralette is released, so if you've been waiting on another size inclusive, beginner friendly bralette design, that is in the Etsy shop. And the dungaree dress, the Gilly Penny that I've been working on, that should be releasing this month as well. So if you've been keeping an eye on that design, that should be ready to go this month. Super excited about that one. That will be a really fun follow-up to the Romping Willow overalls. And let's see. Lori said double crochet uses the least amount of yarn, so that may be an option as well. And then Grammy Colleen Crochet says single ripple or HDC ripple, which I haven't heard of, so I need to go look that up. And Jess said I would go to Yarnspirations or Lion Brand and look up their free patterns using that weight and multiply the size by whatever it takes. That's true. Looking up, you could even look and see if you can find some king size throws in a size 6 yarn, some of the patterns on the websites. That's true. Yes, thank you guys. It should be fun. I'll let y'all know how the porch furniture shopping goes. I'll share in the Facebook group. Be sure to hit the thumbs up if you haven't already, and subscribe if you are not subscribed. I would love to have you as part of the community. And I guess until next time, I'll talk to y'all soon. I will be live Friday on my Instagram account with a guest for Pink Sheep and Friends on Friday. And then I'll be back next Tuesday to be live here on YouTube. So have a great day, everybody. Happy hooking.